Today on Running to Him. There are three things which we as Christians are required to do in our walk with Christ. If you're joining us in going through the Pauline letters, today's reading is Colossians chapter 4, and we will concentrate on verses 1 through 6. Colossians 4:1 begins, "Masters, grant your slaves justice and fairness, knowing that you too have a master in heaven. Devote yourselves to prayer, keeping alert in all with an attitude of thanksgiving, praying at the same time for us as well, that God will open up to us a door for the word, so that we may speak forth the mystery of Christ, for which I have also been imprisoned, that I may make it clear in the way that I ought to speak. Conduct yourselves with wisdom towards outsiders, making the most of the opportunity. Let your speech always be with grace, as though seasoned with salt, so that you will know how you should respond to each person." Well, most people respond to an organized way of doing things. Just look at self-help books and videos, and they will list step-by-step ways of accomplishing your tasks. Paul does the exact same thing in chapter 4. He lists three things all Christians should do in their walk with Christ. The first principle or step is that we are to treat all people with justice and fairness. It should bother Christians that some people are treated differently than others. We are to respect, treat with justice, all people. The word translated justice means to be righteous. This justice does not mean that we have to accept everything that someone does, but we are to respect them without regard to position or power. Besides, we're to treat each other fairly, without bias or malice. So these two words, justice and fairness, amplify one another. Fairness means equality. Now, there's a lot of talk about treating everyone fairly with equal justice in today's society. Only Christians have the command by Christ and the power to do this consistently. Secondly, we are to devote ourselves to prayer. The word translated devote means to continue steadfastly, never giving up. Paul suggests the same thing in 1 Thessalonians 5:17, where he writes to pray without ceasing. And we are to pray for the spreading of the gospel with thanksgiving, asking God to give us the words to say to the various people we meet. Finally, we are to conduct ourselves with wisdom when we are with others outside the faith. Paul then goes on to explain precisely how this wisdom looks. We are to make the most of each opportunity, graciously responding as Christ would respond. This response and interaction are to be God-glorifying, not contentious. Our attitude can only come from the way we act. We are who we act like we are. It is said that someone's righteousness is most clearly shown in how they act when no one else is around. If we are thinking correctly, by activating the mind of Christ in our lives, we will respond accordingly. We fail in our actions when we fail to think like Christ. People will respond and judge us by how we act. We act because of the way we think. Paul reminds us that we are to change our thinking in Romans 12:1. Thank you for listening. We pray that today's devotion was meaningful to you. We would love to hear from you. You can use either Facebook or YouTube to like, subscribe, share, and tell others about us. If you would like to contact us, you can reach me at phineasjacobus@runningtohim.net.